Okay, so today we're going to talk about how to start a blog. So as part of my presentation, excuse me, as part of my presentation, it's all about blogging and finding out how to start a blog and how to build one. So the first thing when you're starting a blog is first of all decide why do you want to start a blog. So this could be maybe you enjoy writing and that's a way that you express yourself, or you're really interested in imagery and want to showcase that, or you have a particular hobby that you feel that you would be good writing about. Then that's a good reason to start a blog. The second reason or stage that you have to go through when deciding to start a blog is what exactly you're going to talk about. So for instance, when you're starting a blog, it could be a blog about fitness and health, like Fitness on Toast, which is a very popular fitness blog, or it could be maybe fashion is your passion, and so you decide to start a blog related to fashion and your personal style. So it could be a range of things. As I mentioned in the presentation, there is different types of blogs. So you could start a mass blog, which is a blog that covers a range of subjects. So for instance, you could have a lifestyle blog, and your lifestyle blog could cover food, travel, your hobbies, your favourites. So it gives you a broader sense of who the blogger is, and also covers a different range of subjects within your life. You could also decide to start a niche blog, and in terms of starting a niche blog, it means finding a sector of a larger market or topic and then skimming it down and making it very specific. So a very good example is the Ask blog, which is a blog which is centered around the Arsenal football team. So the blogger has taken an aspect of football, picked a favourite club, and decided to dedicate his entire blog to things related to that club. So that's very specific, and that's what makes it a niche blog. The third thing to think about when starting a blog is what's going to make your blog different. There's so many different types of blogs out there, and so what is going to make yours seem a little bit more unique than somebody else's, or encourage a reader to read? So it's coming up with quirky ideas, different ways that you can make your blog more different and more unique and more exciting in a sense in comparison to other blogs. So a good example of this is including different types of features in your blog. So for instance, Ugly Face of Beauty, which is a very popular fashion and beauty blog written by Francisca Victory, she does things like my payday wish list. She also does life advice, and because she struggled with like mental health problems, she writes a lot about mental health. So with hers, that makes it very different from somebody else's, because she's got a different edge, or she includes different things inside her blog, if you get what I mean. So that's a really good way of differentiating your blog. So it doesn't have to be huge, but it's just little things that makes it different from somebody else's. So once you've figured out why you want to start your blog, what topic it's going to be on, blah blah blah, the next thing to look at is the real practical aspects of a blog, which is the platform that you're going to use, because it's really important, the platform that you use, and because several different platforms provide different things. So for instance, if you're someone who just wants to start a blog, easy breezy, it's not too professional, just you're beginner, WordPress is probably one of the best platforms to use, because it's simple. Majority of their templates are free. You don't have to be a huge tech wizard to figure out how to use it or build your blog or whatever. So yes, WordPress is a very good one. The second one that I would say, which is very much specific for bloggers because it's called Blogger, and they have loads of templates that you can choose from that are easy to use, and a lot of them are free as well. I think with Blogger you have an option of paying for a more professional one or having just a free one, which you can always upgrade later. If you are deciding that blogging is something that you're really serious about, and it's something that you really want to dedicate a lot of time to and make it very professional and even make money off it, then there's other platforms that you can use. For example, Squarespace, which allows you to build a whole website. I'm currently rebranding my blog and started building it on Squarespace. And I am not in any shape or form a techie type of person, but yeah, it's going good. Yeah, so yeah, it's going good. So I am not in any shape or form a techie type of person, but I am really trying my best to figure out and get into it, and it's going pretty well. So when building a blog as well, you also have to think about, once you find your platform and things like that, you also have to think about what's going to be called, because it has to be memorable, it has to be related to you, something that you think is personal. So it's very important to pick a name that is relatable to your blog or relatable to yourself as a person, so that's something that sticks with your readers. So in my case, picking a name, it was quite difficult because I wasn't sure, and I realised that a lot of my favourite bloggers were rebranding and using their name instead, which is a good idea in the sense that if you're picking a domain name, if you have a really unusual name, I do, my first name is not unusual, but my second name is African, so not a lot of people have that surname, so I was pretty sure that I'd be able to get that as a domain name. But if you have a very generic name, then it might already be taken, so you have to come up with something else. So people come up with things such as the blog I mentioned earlier, The Ugly Face of Beauty. Another very popular blogger, her blog used to be called Beauty Crush, and then she has recently changed it to Samantha Maria because she wanted her brand to be more relatable to her and seem a bit older. For me, I named mine MMB, and it basically stands for the Melanie Madeline blog, but I'm not sure if I might change it. I might change it, I don't know. I'm not really sure yet. Okay, so that picking a name, because finding a good name is really important, like I mentioned earlier, and you also have to find out if it's available, because if you later decide that you want to make blogging your thing and you don't want to have WordPress or Tumblr or whatever attached to your name, then you have to know if the domain name is actually available. Otherwise you'll have to change your name, which it can be really annoying if you've done all your branding and stuff around it. Yeah, so that is a very important aspect. So if I keep on looking over there, my notes are there, I'm just trying to make sure I don't forget anything. Yeah, okay. So after you've picked your domain name, you've got your platform, everything's good, you're like, yes, I'm blogging. You have to pick a template because, sorry, I have a bit of cold. You have to pick a template. And this is, let me just sit up and be in the light for you guys. Yeah. Picking a template is important because it has to be, again, related to you and your style and how you want your readers to see your work. So, for instance, if you are a minimalist person like me, who doesn't like clutter and doesn't like too much stuff being on a page and things like that, I would go for a pretty basic white background, easy font type of template. Other people like different things. I mean, as I work in PR, ironically, I work in PR. A part of my job is going around and looking at other people's blogs to do research. So it's kind of my bad. It's kind of taught me what to expect in a good blog and a good blog template. Because, for example, when PRs want to get in contact with you or readers want to get in contact with you, it's very annoying when your layout is really vague and it's not very specific. And it's also very annoying when you can't see the person's social media links. So, for instance, when I'm working with bloggers and looking for bloggers, I have to find out their entire following. So I want to be able to quickly click on your Twitter, quickly click on your Facebook or your Pinterest to see the other things that you do and the actual real amount of followers that you have. And the same if you have a subscriber, maybe they really like your blog, so they want to see your Instagram. So if you don't have that there, it can just make it a lot more difficult. So a lot of good blogs tend to have at least one visual social media feed on their blog. So sometimes, for example, with Samantha Maria's blog, at the bottom of the page it'll have pictures and it'll say her Instagram feed, which you can just click on, and then you can just click on it and then it'll take you straight to Instagram page. So that's great, that's quick, that's easy. Also, another thing which is good to have on a template and you should look for when you're finding a template is one that allows you to have an archive, because that's really, really important. For instance, if I'm a subscriber and I just joined and I really like your stuff and I've read all your latest posts but I want to see more, if you have an archive and I can go and read your older posts, that is great. It shouldn't just be the post is there for like 10 minutes or like a week and then after that it's gone because you've uploaded new stuff, and that's what happens if you don't have an archive. So that's really annoying, because for instance, if I was a reader and I love your blog and I'm going to go and tell my friends and they check it like 2 weeks later and the post is gone, it's just like, what were you talking about? Yeah, so yeah, so it's very important to have look for a template that has an archive. Like I said, social media links is easy, and also most important thing actually, having a template that allows you to subscribe easily. So the subscriptions should be very easy to see or very easy to navigate to, so that if I love your blog and I think that you're amazing, I can easily go and subscribe to the rest of your stories, or to subscribe to your site so I can see the rest of your stories. So that is very, very important. And as a blogger as well, there is a lot of competition and there is a lot of competition, just because people have really got themselves together these days and turned blogging into like a whole different type of career. So it's a lot. So it's also, because of that, it's also up to their expectation of readers. So if you are blogging and you're posting like any random day or like once a month or whatever, you are not going to build a loyal fan base at all, because people are looking for bloggers who are consistent and who are able to keep to the game basically and provide new stuff for their readers. So I'm not saying that, I know some bloggers upload every day, I'm not saying that that is essential, but I'm saying if you decide to make, I don't know, Sunday your uploading day, stick to it and try and be as consistent as possible, because when readers realise that, they take you seriously and then they will always be there on a Sunday to see what you've put up next. So you putting it up on random days and doing such and such makes it a lot harder for you to build a loyal fan base, because they don't really know what you're doing. Another thing that is very important in a blog, which I think for me was a bit of a challenge, even though I did art for a while and it's still a very big passion of mine, but one of my regrets is not actually taking photography, because I really liked it but I didn't really know how to do it to get good images, and now I'm suffering a little bit, because with blogs especially nowadays,
really sorry about this, but I can't take.
Okay, let's just ignore my Siri just after talking. Yeah, so good images are very important now with a blog. You can be the most amazing writer, but if the first images that people see are not up to par and they're not really that great, people will switch off. It is the honest truth. That's just how it is. So I mean, for me, when I was starting my blog and still building my blog actually, it was a bit of a challenge to figure out, like, I had all my written content down, I knew the topics I was going to write about, blah blah blah, and I just didn't know how I was going to get like really good images. Like, do I go and buy images or like Getty images or something? But then that wouldn't be relevant.
Wrong, and I can't answer your questions right now. Please try again in a little while.
Okay, so my Siri is just having a fluid conversation by itself. Anyway, yeah, so that was a very big problem for me, finding good quality images. So I would say, if you are not the world's like most amazing photographer, there are little things that you can do. Thank God that there are things like apps and stuff that even if your picture is not amazing, you can like filter and add little bits and make it seem a little bit more professional. a little bit more professional. So yeah, good images are very important, because the images, if you think about it realistically, make about a good 50% of your blog or 60% of your blog in regards to like your homepage and what people see when they log on. So it's just try your best to be able to find decent images to upload, and the ones that are relevant to what you're writing about, because also you can't just post a bunch of random images that have nothing to do with your blog and what you're writing about, yada 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 yada. I found that with mine, because I include fashion content within my blog, I go on like Topshop and like sneakily like screenshots like the clip outs of the jacket or whatever and put it on my blog, and I found that like a great way without me being able to talk about it without actually having to go out and buy the product, which is great, because there's loads of things that I love that I have on my wish list that I cannot afford right now. So just go and screenshot stuff and come back and yada yada, and that's great for your blog. So I would say, again, the benefits of having a blog is great. I mean, people have turned it into a whole different type of thing, and I also want to mention that with blogging, it's become very partnered with YouTubing as well, because the majority of the people I follow in regards to blogs, I found through their YouTube channels. And YouTube is also a great way to get exposure, because, for example, if you have a domain name and you're not even on Tumblr or WordPress or anything, but you have an actual domain name, someone really has to go out of their way and know you to type that in to go to your blog, if you get what I mean. Unlike with YouTube, if you make like a hair how to make like one curls like what I've got right now, then you make a video about that and someone types, oh, how to curl hair, your video will probably come up in one of the pages, and so someone will just find you without exactly knowing who you are. And then when they find you, and if they like you, you can just keep a link down below of your blog, and then they click on, and that's basically how it works in loads of situations. So YouTube is definitely also something to really consider when you're starting a blog, because it can be a great way to build traffic towards your blog. Yeah, so benefits of having a blog is great, because, for instance, if you start a blog that's on a niche topic, it's a great way to expand your own knowledge, because you're constantly having to find new things and create new content, so you have to go out of your way and research and experiment. And for you, that can be a great way to learn about the subject and to learn about parts of it that you didn't previously know. So that is a really, really good way of finding out what the subject really is about, and finding out more than you knew before, which is great to expand your knowledge. Also, if your blog becomes really, really good, you get a huge subscriber base, and you feel like there's something would take professionally, there are also great ways to monetize your blog and actually make money off it. So, for instance, I'm going to use her again as an example because I love her. So, Gracie Francesca Victory has a blog called Ugly Face of Beauty, and she has created such a following for her on her social media and for her blog, and has so many subscribers that people pay for advertisement space on her blog, which is amazing. So, for example, ASOS has bought space and advertises on her blog. Lancome advertises on her blog. Misguided advertises for her blog. It's actually insane. But yeah, all of these huge companies advertise on her blog, and that's because she has worked so hard, created such following with the good content that she puts up, and the fact that she shares things about herself online and basically promotes such a positive vibe that people have really taken a liking to her and followed her, and she's gotten so many people. So with that being said, companies and investors look at bloggers who have this type of following and look at the type of people that follow them, and if they feel like these people could be part of their potential customers or could be potential clients, then they will go out of their way and buy advertisement space on your blog, which is awesome because you make some money. Which, who doesn't want some free money? So yeah, so that is a great way as well. And I think also blogging, especially if you're someone like me who loves writing, it's just very rewarding. A lot of people, like in my case, I was all and good. I saw people like making money off their blog and stuff, and like if I do and stuff, that's great. But my main aim is just to like express myself and get my thoughts out there and the stuff that I like. And if somebody like reads it and likes it, then hey, like awesome. But that is not the main reason why. I'm not trying to like make a blog to get a ton of money off it, whatever. Because when you do that, I feel like, and you aim your concepts and your content so much towards things that you think are gonna make you money or whatever, it can be seen. And the people that do well, they do well because they're very authentic and they're very original, and they don't change their personality. They make their personality like very clear to people. And so when people see that and readers see that and they can relate to the stuff that you talk about and relate to you, then they're more likely to become loyal subscribers. Why is it lighting? They're more likely to become loyal subscribers. So that's what I'm trying to say, that being authentic and trying to build a fan base that follows you for who you are can be difficult, but at the end of the day, all you can ever be is yourself, really. And if you do that and the people like you, then they like you. It's no two ways about it. So that's my little video of how to build a blog. Thank you, bye.